I want him to play well. Like, I'd love for him to be a solid QB2. I'm not going to buy into this thing that he can play well enough to be our franchise. I just can't see that for a second. But I want him to play well, want him to throw for, if he throws for like 220 yards, gets 2 touchdowns, passes, and 1 pick, I think that's a good game. That's a good game. And if he can consistently show something like that, I think that's a solid QB2. I can't see him hitting heights more than that. But if he can go in and show something like that, and we're playing the Bengals D as well, which is like one of the worst Ds in the NFL. So it's probably the best time for a young QB or a rookie QB to come in and like show what you've got.
You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
Week 16, Dolphins, Bengals. But at this point in the season, the actual game kind of takes a back seat, especially given what's happened this week. Before I introduced the host of this podcast, if you like this kind of stuff, obviously, and I say obviously, leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend, all the good stuff. But yeah, as always, I'm joined by the host of Go Time Dolphins. Charlie, tell them what time it is.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise as Kadeem adjusts his camera. And I'm like, bro, we got to get some type of symmetry. We got to get a little more professional on this unprofessional podcast.
That's what it is. Like sometimes, like your camera will be like both at head level, and then sometimes you're not. So trying to adjust it. But when I try to adjust it, you can see like the actual background. So I'd like, you know what, we'll leave it. It is what it is. But yeah, going forward, we'll adjust.
We'll figure it out. I kind of want to do something with my background now that I moved. You know what I'm saying? I want to figure this thing out. Probably get some lighting like we had one time before.
Yeah, I quite like the green screen effect. It's just I could be anywhere in the world. If I got my green screen, it's all good. Like I don't mind too much. So yeah.
Kadeem, it's not just the Bengals preview. We actually have a new GTD affiliate that you know quite well, by the way. We're not even going to talk about it. We're just going to bring him in and talk to him. It's Dom from Stack. Dom, welcome to the GTD affiliation. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. So thank you for having me, guys.
Notice you got an accent. What's going on here? Where you from? Across the pond? From across the world? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm a Miami fan, but I'm not from Miami. I'm from London. So yeah, I fell into Miami, and Miami will always be my team, but London born and bred.
Pretty fascinating how this thing happens, because I've been to London 4 times now, and I love me some London. Every 16 months, I kind of flirt with moving to London. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess y'all would say, oh, do you fancy moving to London? I do fancy moving to London, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Kadeem, tell us what's going on with this connection with London, Miami, Dom, yourself. What's going on here? What we got?
So it's been maybe 3 years now, 3 years give or take. But yeah, I met Dom and his relative Paul, aka Motion, at the Hippodrome Casino. It's like, you're in a try to call it an underground bar or whatever. You see another Dolphins fan, it's like, hey. and then from there you just get chatting, and normally around 2 or 3 times a year we're both at the Hippodrome Casino at the same time, chopping it up, drinks are flowing, there were some outrageous conversations, and at least once a year, Dom is like, "Hey, get me on the pod." I'm like, "You know what? Yeah." So it hasn't happened until now. I saw Dom and Paul on Sunday and was like, "Hey, Bengals preview, we'll get you on the pod." Didn't realize the conversation would turn to what it is, but yeah, this has been at least 2 years in the making.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We've been wearing you down, and finally got the call. I'll just say, Kay, as well. I might not be looking at you whilst we're having this conversation because the background is fire. I'm just gonna be looking at the background whenever I'm talking to you.
What, mine?
Yeah, yours.
It's gotta be yours, Kadeem. It's gotta be yours.
No, but no, this is just, you know what? Next year, I want a new one. I kind of want to change some things around, move the core. I feel like I need a different jersey, perhaps, on the wall.
I mean, for the audio listeners, Kadeem has number 13 Dan Marino jersey, and then a number 13 Tua Tagovailoa Alabama jersey up side by side. Tua might not even be on the team next year, Kadeem. What are we doing here?
I feel like we've heard my opinion on Tua and where things are. Dom, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I feel like Dom's opinion on Tua and the state of the Dolphins is something we haven't heard before. So, Dom, I guess, given on Sunday when we last spoke, it was kind of like, what did the Dolphins do with Tua? Do we bench him? And he's now being benched, and Quinn Ewers is a starter. What do you make of that situation?
I think for Dolphins fans and the Dolphins team, it's a win-win. We know what we're getting with Tua. He previously can't stay healthy for a season. And then if he does stay healthy, we'll get a string of below par games. And then he will have a game where he looks like Patrick Mahomes. Or we'll get a string of plays where it's poor. And in one play, he just lights it up. And I think it just plays with our emotions. We go up and down, but it's kind of clear to see right now that he's not going to be consistent enough for us. So I think as much as I like Tua, he's a nice guy, but I think in the NFL, nice guys finish last. And I think switching to Ewers, it's good. Like, we can see what he's made of. If this falls flat and he doesn't do good and we lose out from here for the rest of the season, higher draft pick. If he turns out to be good and plays well, then there's something there for the future. I don't think Ewers will be a franchise quarterback, but if he shows something, that could be a strong QB2, which we've struggled with as well over the years. So, yeah, I think it's time now. The Tua experiment has gone on probably longer than it should have done because of like glimpses that he's shown. We've kind of hung on to that and thought that we would see that consistently. But now that he's been healthy for a season, like starting off 1-6 and pick after pick. And there's times I look at Tua and I feel like the difference with him and top quarterbacks is that whatever the play call is, the top quarterbacks can adapt as soon as a snap. They'll adapt whatever they see. If it's better than the play call, they'll do it, and they'll get a first down, touchdown, whatever it is. Tua tries to stick to the play call too much, and it doesn't work, and he forces it, and then that's where we end up with turnovers and so on. So, there was a time where I was like, nope, let's stick with him. But I think it's time over now.
Bro, listen, self-awareness goes a long way, and I know I may not know much of the London vernacular. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how y'all boys really talk the slang and stuff like that. But what's that? There's a phrase for some of the slang y'all got out there. Is it something about something in rhyme?
Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah. And now you didn't hit us with none of that, but you did say something like, you said win-win. I'm like, does win-win mean something different in London? Because I think it's a lose-lose when we go with Ewers over Tua. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, we're putting Tua in, we're losing. You know what I'm saying? Tua, my boy. I got the Tua sweater on right now for the audio listeners. Like, I ride or die with Tua. He's always going to be my boy. I think he could get it turned around. just not with the Dolphins. I don't believe he will.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna lose with Ewers too. So win-win. I hear you, but I think it's more so a lose-lose. And you invoke 1-6. Question to you, Don, bro. Why didn't we do this at 1-6 or 2-7? And I know, Tua has these. He went on that 8-game or 7-game win streak, and I think we won 8 out of 9 that year, maybe. But I know it's a 7-game win streak, so I know he does that. And you said something too that shout out to Sherrod Steve. Dog is Steve is in my phone for the past since we recorded the last episode. Steve's been in my phone with a mean thread, bro. Dog is going through it. That's my dog. I hate it had to be him. But some fans forget that Tua gave us hope, and they will say, "Oh, he never looked good. He was never good." But yet, at one point, we had Super Bowl aspirations. How do we have these Super Bowl aspirations without Tua actually looking like something, right? Without Tua actually giving us hope. So I understand that he went on the streak and everything, but at what point, Dom, do you say, all right, 1-6, 2-7? Maybe let's put in yours and let's sit Tua, $20 million injury guarantee clause, and maybe let's just do this thing 8 weeks earlier. Why did we wait so long, in your opinion?
I think we got to a point where it was one of 3 had to go. So it was Grier, McDaniel, or Tua. And I think we made the right decision, changing Grier. I think that was long overdue. I think McDaniel said it as well. Leading up to the trade deadline, I thought, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other Dolphins fans thought, that we would trade more than Jalen Phillips. We'd probably do Chubb, maybe even Fitzpatrick. I think Hill was definitely going to get traded until the injury. And maybe that changed things because we wouldn't be able to get much. Obviously, Hill was just like a golden star for us to rebuild. So that maybe changed things. But I think when we think about the 3 that I mentioned, I would probably put to either second or third that needed to go. Grier definitely number 1. We had to change that. It's just not worked for a long time. He made some strange decisions. And yeah, I mean, I didn't agree with it, but McDaniel said I think it was at 2-6 or 3-6. He was like, look, season's not over. We're going to go for it. And at that point, I was like, let's not go for it. Let's just leave it here and rebuild for the future. And it's typical Dolphins. Like every season, we get hope. We think we're going to do something. But I think to one point you said there, like, as I said just now, he has those glimpses. But even if last week or this week went better against the Steelers and we had a chance of the playoffs, once we get to the playoffs, do we really think we're going to get to the Super Bowl? Like, I think we had to make that change because our ceiling was always going to be one playoff win. With Tua being healthy and playing well throughout the whole season, in my opinion, I think one playoff win would have been our ceiling. And once you get to the playoffs, you don't want one win. You want more than that. So, yeah, for me, again, nothing against Tua. Great guy. He shows glimpses. I think he'd be a very, very, very... He'd be the best QB2 in the league, or a decent QB1 at a lower team or something like that. But with the Dolphins, and especially over the last few years, the way we've played, and we've had Hill and Waddle doing crazy stuff, and A-Chain now as well. If we want to keep these kind of guys on the team, Chop Robinson coming in and like he's looking like he's going to be a star. If we want to keep these guys and stop them from trading away or forcing a trade, we have to build. Tua is not the answer to get us to the playoffs or get us playoff wins. So, yeah, I think I don't really have an answer as to why we didn't make the decision sooner. In my opinion, we should have done. But, and again, like I say, building up hopes, it got to a point where we were like, oh, we're 6-6. Oh, okay. Or like, can this happen? Or what's going to go on from here? And then as what happens all the time with Dolphins fans, we just end up falling at the final hurdle. And it's so painful because like we're now eliminated from playoff contention. It's like we should have just made this decision so much earlier. So like I say, when I'm saying like it's a win-win situation and you're saying it's a lose-lose, I think we're on the same page. We're just calling it something different. But if we made this decision earlier, we would have been in such a better position, in my opinion. And now it's like we just switched to Ewers. I think Tua doesn't need to play for the Dolphins anymore. I actually think this could be a situation where Tua finds a different team and he actually performs better. I think the Dolphins and Tua chemistry is just not there. It's not the right thing. He got a little bit of a confidence boost working under Mike McDaniel, but I think he needs someone else that can really unlock his true potential and consistency. We're not going to see that. So, yeah, I just think it's the right time.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna throw it to you now. But earlier in the show, you said you seen Kadeem, you said you seen a Dolphin fan, right? And you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You pointed out all the good stuff. In London, you know that meme? I think it's the Will Smith and Martin Lawrence meme. I think it's a Bad Boys meme where they point at each other with the cups.
In the club, yeah.
Yeah, in the
Bad
club,
Boys,
right? Like, and in the meme, it's like a GIF, actually. It's like, they point at each other like, hey, boy, I see you. And, oh, I see you. And it's kind of like a good vibe. Like, hey, you nice, boy. Like, hey, boy, we did that, right? I feel like if I was in London and I seen a Dolphin fan, I point at him almost with like heartfelt, like, I know what you're going through, bro. It's a little different. The GIF isn't as jovial. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know you one of us. I know what you're going through, bro. I know the heartache that you endure. And that's kind of what I got from you, Kadeem. I
was going to say that.
Hey, yo, like, for you to be a Dolphin fan out here, like, I don't even know you, but I feel like I need to give you a hug right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a little different for me.
Nah, I think I know why the Dolphins didn't do it at 1-6. And it was this really weird situation where, Charlie, we said it for weeks on the podcast. We were losing one-score games. We weren't like, obviously, we got beaten badly by the Colts, beaten badly by the Browns, but Chargers, 46 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. Panthers, like the way these games are going, there was a belief in the organization, and they kind of said it themselves that we can turn this around. Yes, it's a massive, massive, massive mountain to climb to get back into the playoffs, but there was a belief that they could win out or win enough games to kind of like give them hope. And I think even heading into Pittsburgh game on Monday, it's basically, if you win, you live to fight another day. If you lose, you're done. And it's very telling that in that situation, and to be fair, it's been like that for the last few weeks. But Tua was the man who essentially would get that win. Now, he was playing badly, but the belief is it's not going to be Zach Wilson and it's not going to be Quinn Ewers. Now that the Dolphins are right, it's like, well, we can turn to Quinn Ewers because we have nothing left to play for. But I still believe to this very day, or as it stands right now, if the Dolphins needed to legit win a game, they turn to Tua. Like, you aren't turning to Quinn Ewers. And I know, like, Dom, you're in the Dolphins UK chat, or one of the Dolphins UK, R1. I know a lot of people are like, I really want to see what Quinn Ewers can do, all that kind of stuff. But do you really? Because, yes, you had that little moment in the Browns game where people are like, oh, Quinn Ewers, it can be really exciting. First throw, that was nearly a pick. And yes, he's had more week to kind of, every single week would have helped prepare for where he is now. But I don't know if you heard or saw what McDaniel said on Friday about Quinn Ewers and, what they've seen from him. And I'm paraphrasing, but what McDaniel basically said was, we saw why we made this change. We saw the conviction. It wasn't perfect, but it's like, if it wasn't perfect, why would you make this change? Like, and again, he's a 7th round rookie. I don't think anyone's expecting perfection, but I still think you're going to see more of what we saw in the brief glimpses in that Browns game, and not Quinn Ewers coming out and looking, to make a very lazy comparison, like Brock Purdy against the Dolphins in his debut. 2 7th round picks, but I think we're going to get very, and not because Ewers is bad, but just I think we're going to get 2 complete different I guess, NFL starts. But I am genuinely hoping Quinn Ewers has a really good game because I'm a Dolphins fan. And I'm not trying to watch the Dolphins lose. Like, that's never my intention. So, yeah.
But that's exactly why I think it's a win-win. Like, we're in a situation now where for this season, we have to just experiment now. Like, we've got nothing to play for. So why not experiment? We've got the rest of this season to just see everyone that we've got in the building, see who's actually worth being here over the next few years. I don't think we're going to properly rebuild until the earliest 2027, in my opinion. So now it's like, let's just see what we have. Like I say, we've done the Tua experiment. Like, we've done that. We know what the limit is with Tua. He can be a top quarterback for one play or for one game. That's not enough. He's not going to get us. I wouldn't even.
2023 still exists. The 2023 tape is
there. It does. But then, like, we get to the playoffs and what happens? Like, I think, but that's my point around the ceiling. Like, we know that if Tua is going to be healthy and on top form, top of his game, we're going to get to the first round of the playoffs. If we win that, we'll lose the next one. Like, we know what the story is. I think if we're all honest with ourselves as Dolphins fans and we put the bias aside, we're not going to get to a Super Bowl with Tua. It's just not going to happen. If we think about it properly, it's not going to happen.
Don, it sounds like you were once upon a time a Tua fan. Am I wrong to assume that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was, so Kay just mentioned my cousin Motion, and Motion was actually saying,
I didn't know Motion was a person. I thought I was slang. I really didn't know. I was just using context. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, so Motion is a person. All right, here we go.
Yeah, his last name's Motion, so his name's Paul Motion. So he's becoming famous from this pod. But yeah, we obviously go back and forth every time we're watching the Dolphins, whether we're together or not. And he has said for so long, like, Tua's not the answer. And I was actually fighting Tua's case for so long. I was like, no, this guy's got it. He's got it in him. He can do it. If he stays healthy, we can get there. So, yeah, I was Tua's biggest fan up until this season.
I have my doubts. For me, I have my doubts because Tua's biggest fan is sitting right here on this screen with a Go Time Dolphins camouflage hat on. You know what I'm saying? So you say you was his biggest. All right.
Yeah, I'll say second biggest. But I think up until this season, I kind of got to a point where I was like, right, let's see what we can do this season. Like, we came into this, and I think where we were in 23, I think the pressure on us hurt us as well. And I think that's why this season, I kind of was like, I actually think we might have a good season because the spotlight wasn't on us. No one was talking about us. People were even saying that we had a terrible team, and they were right for the first 7 games because obviously results speak louder than opinions and everything like that. But I came into this season and I was like, this is where I'm going to make my final decision on Tua. Can he be healthy for the whole season? Can he perform for the whole season? Can he get us to the playoffs? Can he get us a playoff win? And we've seen the answer now. I think if we fast forward 5 years from now and we stick with Tua, we'll probably have the same conversation again. So it's like, how long do we keep this experiment going for? We know what the limits are. So right now, for me, for the rest of the season, we see what Ewers can do. I don't believe for a second that Quinn Ewers is going to be our franchise. I don't think that for a second. But I think there's a chance that he could show that he could be a solid QB2. And we've not had good QB2s for the longest time. Every time Tua's got injured previously, you know what you're going to get. We just lose games. There's picks. Things didn't work. I think Tyler Huntley was probably one of our best, but it's because he's got good feet. But yeah, we've never had a decent QB2 and QB1 doesn't stay healthy.
So I asked all of that to say this question right here, to set this up. As a Tua fan, one Tua fan to another, and since we have this platform, and I'm genuinely curious because I don't have the answer. What do you think happened to Tua? Why this such contrast between one quarterback to the next within himself? What do you think happened to our quarterback?
I think there's the injury issues. Obviously, when he's been hit to the head and he's had concussions and stuff. And I think that period, he just lost his confidence. And you can see there's times where he's just not playing with confidence. I think I kind of like read into people quite well. And a lot of the time I look at Tua and I'm like, that's a fake confidence. Like when I see him talking to Hill and Waddle before they go out and they make the play and everything like that. And that's why I say I think McDaniel gave him such a boost and so much confidence and like really just was singing his praise the whole time. But that can only last a certain amount of time before you have to take over yourself and then go to the next level. And I don't think that part happened. So I think it's a mixture of injuries and then he lost his confidence. And when you get injured, that plays in your mind every time. Even when you're back healthy, you're still thinking this part of my body is not as good as it was before, so I don't want to get hit. And obviously he used his legs a lot in college, and every time he decides to run, every Dolphins fan's just like, we just go into a shell. And he just does silly stuff as well. I think it was probably last year, a couple of times where he would run and then he'd go head first into the defender, and it's like, are you forgetting what happened? Maybe it's because he got hit in the head that he did that. He just forgot. So yeah, I think like a combination of things just has hampered him, and that's why I think he needs to work with a different head coach that's going to take him to that next level. I think my opinion on Tua is in two different places. When I think about Tua with Miami, I think he's hit his ceiling. It's done. It's over. When I think about Tua as just Tua, I still think he could be very good for another team, but I think he needs a fresh start, needs to go somewhere else, needs a change of scenery, a different head coach. I think the vibe at Miami right now and for the last few years is like fun, and it worked for a bit, but then it needs to switch. Like I look at Detroit, remember they were terrible like 3 years ago, and then they had that switch, and every single one of their players is just a replica of Dan Campbell. And you could look at Miami and say that our players are a replica of Mike McDaniel. McDaniel's just jokey and messes about, and he's really small, and that's kind of how we play. We haven't got any like beasts that go out there and command the game, and like the other team could look at us and be like, I mean, to us, all the Miami players are probably huge, but in NFL terms, we're not a big, scary team. And I think we need to have that mixed in there.
Can I ask you a very quick question?
Go.
How many Super Bowls had the Detroit Lions won under Dan Campbell?
Fair.
How many
Fair
playoff
point.
wins?
But
How many playoff
yeah,
wins?
but
No, that's a real question. How many playoff wins under Dan Campbell?
I can.
Well, they got
double
two. Did they have two last season? They got smashed by Washington, and Washington went to the
Last
championship game.
I
Yeah,
thought
because Washington
I
went
thought
to
they was one
championship
and done
game.
last season. They weren't one and done last season.
I will double
I think they
check.
won two.
Like when I asked, that was a genuine question. How many playoff wins does the Lions have under Dan Campbell?
They have two.
Yeah,
2 playoff wins under Dan
Both,
Campbell.
but both in 2023. So the 2024 one and done. They lost to the Commanders 45-31. 2023 beat the 49ers 34-31. Beat the Bucks 31-23, but then lost by 1 point to the Rams. No. Starts again. Beat the Rams in the wild card 24-23. Beat the Bucks in the divisional round 31-23, but then lost to the 49ers 34-31.
Right. So because the 49ers have this stat where they either make the playoffs or they make the NFC championship. Like that's it. Like they either miss the playoffs or they make the NFC championship. And so when you said that, like, maybe that's a little off. But what you were saying, Dom, is accurate. And I don't know if it's in every sport that this is kind of like a belief, but and you might hear it more often in American football. We say teams take on the identity of their head coaches. You know what I'm saying? And that's I think that's a very, very true statement. Something else that's true is I also believe Tua will be better somewhere else. Just for the fresh start, a la Jared Goff. You see what he did when he left the Rams and went to Detroit. You see Baker Mayfield. You see Sam Darnold. You see Geno Smith. All them boys had fresh starts, and it was like, oh, look what's going on here. So I think Tua is the same, but we're a Dolphin podcast, not a Tua podcast. So what's that mean for the Dolphins? You know what I'm saying? So next year, I believe we're going to keep Tua. And I think and the more we talk and the more we go, like the closer we get to next year, I could see the Dolphins just saying, you know what, we're going to the Denver route. Although I do not think we would have as much luck as Denver because they had a better team than we do at this point when they did it. So, and then their draft pick was they hit on Bo Nix for the time being. Kadeem shaking his head for the audio listeners. Kadeem shaking his head. So they hit on Bo Nix for the time being as far as quarterback goes. If you're gonna take a $80 million cap hit and then draft a quarterback, it worked for them. So that being said, I see a world where the Dolphins keep Tua. And I don't think it should discourage them from getting an actual quarterback, going out and say, hey, we're not just bringing in competition. We actually got our quarterback, but Tua is still on the team. And what happens is you have a dynamic where it's the Kirk Cousins dynamic, where Kirk Cousins was paid a ton of money. They didn't want to cut him. They didn't trade him without the right capital, and they kept him the whole time. And Michael Penix was starting. And I think you have that dynamic where Tua could be the backup, and you have Alabama all over again. Obviously, not where I don't foresee the Dolphins being successful next season. Not even know who the quarterback is coming in, but worst case scenario, quarterback goes down. Tua is your backup for that one season because you just kept him because of cap implications. So I can't see that happening, but I can also see McDaniel knowing, yo, this is my last season as a head coach, potentially. And if I don't win, I could be sacked. I might fall into a OC job, but I like being this head coach. So maybe I go with what I know in Tua because we don't have the means to bring in somebody else better than Tua right now. So I can see a couple different routes the Dolphins go. I can see them getting rid of Tua. I could see them benching Tua being a backup. I can also see them starting Tua next year. So what do you think? Like, not what you want, but what do you think we do next year when it comes to Tua? And the Dolphins.
I think it goes back to what I said about the situation we're in now. I think it all depends on what Quinn Ewers does for the rest of the season. Because I agree with you. I can see Tua being a QB2 at the Dolphins or staying next season. I actually thought that should have happened like a couple of seasons ago as well. So yeah, I can definitely see that being a situation. But going back again where I said that one of three had to go earlier on this season, when I say one of three had to go, all three, I believe, have to go. I think we need to get rid of all three.
I like this guy,
not at the same time.
I like this guy.
I love, again, it's nothing against him. The only one that I probably didn't like was Greer. I just think he was crazy with stuff that he did. I actually love Mike McDaniel. I think he's great. He's great energy, and like he is just great. And again, I love Tua. I don't think anyone could possibly hate Tua as a person.
Hey, Shirai Steve listening right now. And he might have turned the podcast off just now when you said that. I can hear him right now, like yelling over us talking right now, talking about how much he hates Tua.
Some of the guys
in
that
terms
UK
of
chat,
his play, though, his ability, not him as a person.
I don't know. I don't. That's something you have to ask him. He can find a way.
I feel like him as a person, you can't really hate him, but yeah.
Do you know what? Sorry, very quickly. I think you can, and like I don't, but I think him laughing on the sideline and some of the stuff he said off the field has really, really like pissed off Dolphin fans. Like he, even going back to when he got paid and the whole like show me the money stuff, he came out and was like, I said it because I got dared to. People don't like him, and people have been rightfully or wrongfully waiting for this day for years. They've been waiting for Tua to get benched or whatever. So they go, I told you so. And it's just like
haters. There have been some haters all along without even his play, just for other things that we didn't even know why they were hating him on. So yeah, there's people out there that hated him before this.
But that's like, so Kadeem, what you said there, like Tua got dared to say, show me the money. Like, I think that is Tua. He's never going to be himself. Like, you could say to him, do this, and he'll do this. And like, he never is just himself. Like this past week, the thing that annoyed me so much was after the game, him and Jalen Ramsey, like laughing on the pitch and stuff. Like, yeah, he's your boy. That's fine. Do that in the back. Like, don't let cameras see that. It's not a good look. We've just been eliminated. Show that you care. Show that you're annoyed.
But Waddle was seen smiling as well, and no one had a go at Waddle.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle. I think Waddle's just like high on life kind of thing. But I think the problem is you add to the situation of like Jalen Ramsey, like the way in which he left, and he's had choice words about Miami and McDaniel. And do you know what? Again, I am Miami through and through. I love Miami, but some of the stuff that Jalen Ramsey said, I can see it. I'm like, I don't know if I can disagree with him, because I do think we need to, and that's where with McDaniel as well, I think he does need to leave. I think he would be a great OC in wherever he goes, but he's not a head coach. For me, we need a head coach that is just like going to make us go out there and play. Like if we go back, sometimes we stay to UK. Yeah, well, maybe not. But, yeah,
exactly.
But where you were saying, Kay, about leading up to last weekend and the game with the Steelers and stuff, like there's the stat that remains. We can't play below 40 degrees. Like, why is that a thing? And whenever we go and we play in less than 40 degrees, like everyone goes out there and they just look cold. Like Tua looks like he's cold, and like you have to like go out there and show something. When we played, I think we played the Bills, and it was sub 40, and Jalen Phillips went out and practiced before the game with no top on. Like that's what we want from every single player. Like go out there and be a beast, be a boss. I think it was. Was
probably one of Tua's better games. That was a game where even Stephen A. Smith was like, "Hey, Tua can play," because like we narrowly lost that game. If it's the same game,
we talking about the ice ball games where they're throwing ice.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like it's just glimpses with him. It's never going to be like you look at the record.
I think it's more than glimpse. I think it was more than a glimpse. I think there was some sustainability there, and it just vanished. So I think it was more than a glimpse.
But that's it. When you say it vanished, like if we look at it from the grand scheme of things, there's too many glimpses.
I think it fell off a cliff, though, is what I'm saying. Like I don't think it was this. I don't think it was Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill had 7 years of I don't know, maybe the whole NFL was like that. Not just Dolphin fans with Tannehill. Like I don't know about Tannehill. I don't think it was that with Tua. I think a lot of people were wrong on at the when I say beginning, I'm talking post Flores. Like everybody had to eat crow for whatever reason they say that. You know what I'm saying? All the haters had to eat crow for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? And then it just literally fell out not literally, but it fell off the cliff. But you keep saying coach this and coach that and coach this and coach that. And I got this thing now. I think it's a really good topic. How you feel about Mike Tomlin becoming available with people out in Pittsburgh? Just now, I'm done with Mike Tomlin. And is Tomlin still capable of having that something about him if he came to Miami? Are you interested in Mike Tomlin at all? Are you out? Are you like, nah, I don't want Tomlin because of X, Y, and Z? Where you at with the optics, not just the optics, but the possibility of Mike Tomlin becoming a Miami Dolphin head coach?
I think I'm mixed on that. I do like him and he like his persona. I think he could change the dressing room. But the one thing that kind of plays in my mind is like he's quite big on defense. Like you look at his teams and they're really good on defense. And this obviously past off season, getting Jalen Ramsey in and making sure the defense is solid, that kind of thing. We've got Anthony Weaver that can do that. So I don't know if that combination is going to work.
Do we have Anthony Weaver?
I think our defense has been good. Our defense has been really good.
No, but like he could be a head coach in the off season. Like,
people
keep on talking about him like he's going to get a head coaching job sooner rather than later. Whether like I know some Dolphin fans are just like he's not that good, but
right. I think that's me. I think I'm that guy.
That's why you was like, yeah.
And I'm not sure either. Like, so I'm not here on a soapbox either. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe Anthony Weaver is who's the dude in Philly that I didn't really like? He came here, the coach
Vic Fangio.
Fangio, and then won the Super Bowl. So maybe Anthony Weaver leads the Dolphins and wins the Super Bowl the very next season. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Mike Tomlin was a defensive head coach, and that's where where his bread was buttered. Yeah. So, and the more I ask this question to people, Kadeem and Dom, I think I'm warming up on Mike Tomlin, and that's the fact that I'm just warming up to it is to say that there's no conviction. You know what I'm saying? But the more I talk about it, I'm like, ideally, LB hit me with this one. Ideally, maybe Tomlin pulls one of those, you know what, I'm gonna take a season off this year. You know, he split with Pittsburgh and he didn't go straight into the head coaching position, and he takes a season off, and then we get to have one season of Mike McDaniel, and everyone could say, oh, we get to see Tua with McDaniel without Tua. Let's see what McDaniel can do. And I don't think it's gonna be any different, but everyone can see it. And then that 1 year happened to line up. And I don't like really saying the stars align, but it lines up where we had the 1 year with McDaniel, Mike Tomlin is available. Then you throw the kitchen sink at Mike Tomlin and he becomes the head coach in 27. But who knows?
I like that.
I mean, if I could go to fantasy world real quick, maybe Tomlin takes that year off and Mahomes has his 1 year of recovery, and then you marry Mahomes and Tomlin in Miami. Like, I'm just saying, that's fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying.
You left.
I'm saying, like, let me dream a little bit, Kadeem. Like maybe Andy
I didn't stop you. It's Dom. Dom said you left Earth. I didn't say nothing. I've been silent. Also, sorry, very quickly, Dom, what are you drinking? Because that's a red cup. I feel left out with like no red cup or a red can.
Red cup. Hey, I got a red cup. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
This is my favorite drink. It's a Hazy Jane. It's like a IPA.
You had having red a second ago. There was no way it was green.
Oh yeah, no, that's the can. But yeah, this is the cup.
I'm saying, see, like again, I have no red cup. Like, what is this?
He was being professional. He didn't want to advertise on our podcast, so he had the red cup. Like I had the red cup.
No,
my red cup.
Do you know what it is?
Mine was hot chocolate.
I work for an American company, so I know the red cup situation. So it's actually my company. Actually, we get like branded stuff from them. So this is like a branded red cup from my company. So it's actually steel as well. So it keeps the drinks cold and stuff. So being on here for as long as we are, I was like, let me get a cold drink and make sure it stays cold.
Let me know the red cup situation. Like, how are you going to be my guest? But I don't know. It's like a red cup game. I don't understand how that works. I'm just saying. I thought I left out.
That's okay. It sounds like I've got to come back for another pod, and then we all have the red cups. That's what it sounds like to me.
Exactly what it sounds like. Exactly what it sounds like.
Red cup boys. Listen, we spoke Tomlin. We spoke Tua's benching. We do have the Bengals on Sunday. Quinn Ewers first start. What, Dom? I hate this question, but like, what do you hope to see from Quinn Ewers in his first start? And I will caveat that by going, in this scenario, Mike McDaniel gets the plays in on time. Mike McDaniel gets the plays in on time and allows Quinn Ewers to show what he can do. What do you hope to see from Quinn Ewers on Sunday?
Well, I haven't seen much of Ewers. I've seen like a couple of clips and stuff, and it looks like he's got a good arm. So in my head, I'm like, can he build a connection with Jalen Waddle? Like Waddle going deep and Ewers finding him. That's the one thing that I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe that's what we can hopefully see. Ewers he's not a mobile quarterback, so we know we're not going to get scrambles and things like that. So he's got to use his arm. And hopefully this is something where Waddle can come into it.
Literally, as you said, we won't see scrambles. I'm clicking on the DraftKings app, right? Like, bing, click, looking to see what his over under for rushing yards is going to be. Like, I was as you were saying it, I was clicking it. So I think we're going to see a couple. What's his Quinn Ewers rushing yards? 10 plus comes in at plus 177 on DraftKings. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, I think I'm kind of going into this open-minded. Like, I just want to see what happens. Obviously, if you're saying, like, what do I want to happen or, like, what am I hoping for? I want him to play well. like I'd love for him to be a solid QB2. I'm not going to buy into this thing that he can play well enough to be our franchise. I just can't see that for a second. But I want him to play well, want him to throw for, if he throws for like 220 yards, gets 2 touchdowns, passes, and 1 pick, I think that's a good game. That's a good game. And if he can consistently show something like that, I think that's a solid QB2. I can't see him hitting heights more than that. But if he can go in and show something like that, and we're playing the Bengals D as well, which is like one of the worst Ds in the NFL. So it's probably the best time for a young QB or a rookie QB to come in and like show what you've got. You can't really ask for a better defense to go up against. So he's got to show himself here. But yeah, I think if he can show that he's accurate, he's not scared to take a risk, and I think hopefully Waddle can see it. I think in my mind as well, one thing that I always think about is whenever Tua goes to Waddle, it always seems to fall short, the throws, and then Waddle's kind of adapting to get to it, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And I'm hearing that Ewers has got a strong arm, so can that release Waddle where he can catch it on the run, on the go? That's something that I'm keen to see if that happens. So yeah, let's see. And I think obviously with Waddle as well, he's done well recently coming out of Hill's shadows. I never want to see someone get injured, but it's a blessing in disguise for him. So can he find a connection with Ewers for the rest of the season?
How did you feel about Waddle being in the trade conversation to Buffalo? Would you have wanted that trade to go through? They were giving us a 1 and a 3, first and a third. How did you feel about that? Did you want to see that materialize, or were you happy that we kept him? Do you think we should keep him moving forward, or would you revisit that trade in the offseason?
So when I started hearing rumors about that, I was looking at flights to Miami to stop that happening. I think for me personally, I look at Jalen Waddle, A-Chain, Chop Robinson, look at guys like that, and I'm like, they're guys we need to keep hold of. We need to keep hold of those guys. We need to build around those guys, and I think we have a bright future. Waddle's one of my favorite Dolphins, and I think, again, he's kind of been in Hill's shadows for a long time, and then Hill gets injured and Waddle gets to be wide receiver number 1. So I would have hated to have seen him go in that kind of situation. So yeah, I think Waddle needs to stay, show what he's made of, because I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be really, really good going forward.
Listen, mate. Waddle's on the first thing smoking. Like as soon as the trade like window opens up in the new season, I hope we could revisit that trade to Buffalo too. Like that's perfect. I want him in Buffalo, not some other, like I don't want him to go to KC where he can actually be something. I want him in Buffalo. There. I want him in Buffalo where he's gonna have a ton of drop passes. He's gonna pretend like he's injured every single time he gets up off the ground. He gets paid too much money, and Josh Allen can't get the ball to his actual receivers. It's a perfect marriage for the Dolphins to trade him in the division and then just sabotage a division rival. It is perfect, and I hope that happens in the offseason. Doubling down on your Quinn Ewers, not a Russian quarterback, you might be onto something. Well, mobile quarterback, you said. His over-under is 5.5 at minus. The over-under for Quinn Ewers rushing yards is minus 112 at over 5.5, under 5.5. Joe Burrow's over-under for rushing yards is 4.5, and I'm putting them both on the parlay. 238 is the odds, and I think that's, you got to be careful what you say on the internet. So, bad in moderation. You know what I'm saying? But I like that. I like that.
Use stats if you want to bet.
Hey, there you go. Tell us about stats, bro. What we got going on?
Yeah, so it's a nice way, especially for NFL. Like you think about Sunday, all the games are on Red Zone, and you put loads of different bets on different games, or you've got like rushing yards for all the different players and receiving yards and so on. It's so hard when you're on Sky Bet or Paddy Power, whatever app it is, and you've got like 10 different bets on. You go through and you can't really see where you're at with the bets. And some people as well, they will put bets on different apps as well. So you kind of like logging into one, logging out of the other. So you still put your bets on your favorite apps, betting apps, but then you upload them all to Stacked and you see everything in one place. So if you put 10 bets on and you're watching Red Zone and they're all live, Stacked will put all of your bets in one place, but then it also will put the bets that are closest to coming in towards the top of the page. So you don't need to scroll around and see how this is doing, how that's doing. Stats will just give you that information straight there and then. It's really good for if you want to cash out a bet, you can see one that's close to coming in. So you'll go straight to that bet and cash it out. And then another good thing about it as well is a couple of good things is you get stats as well. So if you're putting a bet in where you've got rushing yards, receiving yards, passing touchdowns, loads of different markets, you can see what your strengths are. So then going forwards, you can be like, well, maybe I'll just do rushing yards because I got 100% on that, but that bet was mixed with other markets and I lost my bet. So I'll just do rushing yards instead and increase my chances of winning. And they also have, they call it 0%, or we call it 0% gambling. So even if you're not a gambler and you're out with everyone and they all gamble, all it is just you build your bet slip in whichever betting app you want to do it in, take a screenshot, upload it to Stacked, and you can see how the bet runs. So you don't need to put money on the actual bet. Just build your bet slip, take a screenshot, upload it, and you're kind of involved in the fun, seeing how you get on, but you're not losing any money. So if you're worried about that part, then you can still get involved in the fun and you got nothing to lose. So Stacked is the way forward.
As a one-time avid gambler, that sounds like a fantastic app, bro. Like to really know that I could have multiple bet slips and then it organizes it for me, so I don't have to go searching and what did I say? Does that like I think I got something on that? You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good app. Sounds like it'll be really good for fantasy football as well. It kind of runs synonymous with prop bets. So that's what's up. How can we find the app?
We'll put a link in the comments if you guys don't mind. But if just go in the Apple Store and in the App Store and put in Stacked, and you'll see it. You'll see this logo right here. Just go in, download it, and start putting your bets straight in.
For all the audio listeners, all the audio listeners that can't get past the accent, is Stacked, STACKED. No, just in case, we gotta get out there the right way. Hey.
Links in the link in the comments.
For sure. Appreciate you coming on, Dom. We're about to get into overtime, Kadeem, yeah?
100%.
Dom, let everybody know where they can find you. If they can find you at all.
You can.
Or maybe they can only find you at the Hippodrome. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That is one place you'll definitely find me. Hippodrome Casino. It's a room called Lola's right at the bottom. And although it's in the UK, it looks like an American bar. It's the place to be. So I don't work for the Hippodrome Casino. I sound like it right now. But no, it's a good place to be.
My first 7 times in the Hippodrome, and you go downstairs, it got this hostel feel. It kind of feels like a dungeon, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not too sure about this thing, you know what I'm saying? But then they had, all right, let's get in overtime because I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Listen, they had to put security on me down there one time. Dom, dead serious. I hit them boys at the crap table, and the next day I came back and security wouldn't let me really play for real. It was crazy. But
wow,
y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Dom from Stack and Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
But it's overtime, Kadeem. What we got?
Is it worth doing predictions for a game that no one really cares about?
Sure. Let's see how it goes.
Dom,
what you got?
What is your prediction for the Bengals game?
I think I think it'll be low scoring. I can see a 17-10 Dolphins. Dolphins win.
Charlie?
Come back to me, mate. I'm putting together a parlay.
I'm going to go. 27-14 win for the Bengals.
Is JB playing? Or did he get
who?
dropped?
Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Burrow's playing.
Yeah.
Minka Fitzpatrick is out.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick is out actually, isn't he?
Actually, I can very quickly have a look at the final injury report. I think Ewers, for me, what he needs to do is just as what's his face, as McDaniel said, just play with conviction. For me, it's just about looking like you belong. Like if you're going to, as Dan Marino told Tua, pick a guy and let it fly. Like, hey, to me, just if you're going to make a throw, cool, fair enough. If you get intercepted, hey, it's going to happen. You're going to turn the ball over. No one has never ever not thrown an interception in the game. Sorry, throughout their career. It's. I could sit here and say, look after the ball, don't turn the ball over, all that kind of stuff. But if you go back to our early episodes when Tua was doing that, and people were upset because he's only putting up like 150 yards in these wins because the defense was doing so much. Listen, I'm not saying I want him to recklessly throw the ball like he's playing backyard football, but I think if you're going to show you can be the face of this franchise or put yourself in the driving seat to lead this team forward, I think you've got to do more than just, essentially play point guard and be like, no, the one thing the Dolphin fans have, or they say they've missed with while we've had Tua, is those downfield, really have a deep ball threat. So if he can show he's got a deep ball threat, if he can show that he's willing to, throw outside the numbers and scramble and play off script, then yeah. Like I personally don't need that, but I feel like a lot of Dolphin fans will need that and will want to see that. So
I think Ewers needs that.
Yeah,
Ewers needs that for himself. He's got to stand out. He might as well take chances.
But I also think, like I said, for him to succeed, McDaniel needs to get the play on time. Like, two things: get the plane on time and make sure the playbook is suited to Quinn Ewers and not Tua, because they are two different quarterbacks, and I hope that there are some plays in there which Quinn is comfortable with. I can't imagine we see all the trickery we saw, behind the back pass and stuff like that. But get the ball out quickly, but also hopefully the offensive line can give him time that if he's going to push the ball downfield, he has the time to do it very, very quickly. Minka is out.
Yeah.
Jordan Brooks.
Is Brooks questionable?
Yeah, Brooks, Campbell, Isaiah Johnson, Andrew Meyer, and Jason Sanders are questionable. I don't know why you would bring back Jason Sanders at this point. Like, you don't need...
Yeah, no, because you pay him a lot of money. You got to see what we got going in the next season. Like, all right, like, because we could really go on without you, Jason. So let's see what are you still hitting from 50 plus? Like, I think that's very valid.
That's fair.
Everyone's getting assessed right now.
Bengals, Noah Fant is out, Charlie Jones, the wide receiver's out, and Joseph Asai, the defensive end, is out. T. Higgins, BJ Hill, and PJ Jules are questionable. And they have
if Higgins is out, that would be big.
Yeah, that'll be a big miss for them. Joe Burrow is on the injury report, but he's been a full participant for the past 3 days with an injury. And T. Higgins is concussion, but he was a full participant on Friday, so I would assume he'll be fine to play.
So last week I had a 4-leg parlay, prop bets, and it was Darren Waller anytime touchdown, Darren Waller 4+ receptions, Achane 5+ receptions, and Achane 50+ yards receiving, and that came in at plus 3,000. Where you put 100 on it and it brings back 3,100. Our friend Dom here has brought up the rushing prowess of Quinn Ewers. And I think he could get a little more jiggy than what people think. His over-under comes in at 5.5. I'm taking Quinn Ewers over 5.5 rushing yards. Darren Waller, 2+ receptions. Can I get 2? Quinn Ewers checking it down. Devon Achane, best player on the team. Quinn Ewers, real start. 4+ receptions for Achane. Bengals alternative spread. The spread is 4.5 for the Bengals right now. Give me 6.5 for the Bengals. The Bengals win. Chase Brown, here's where it gets tricky. Anytime touchdown. I don't love it. And then Joe Burrow over 4.5 rushing yards. That comes in at plus 2,100. And I actually like this. Let's see if I can go back-to-back big money. Back-to-back big money. That'd be crazy. But yeah, I got the Bengals winning by more than a touchdown. Go ahead.
Why didn't you say back-to-back big bucks? Like all B's to the big money.
You know, the alliteration is the thing. Alliteration is the thing. So I try to say easy money, you know what I'm saying, for the segment, but back-to-back big bucks. That's a good thing. What y'all got? Quid, right?
Yeah.
When you were Quid? I don't know.
Quid's in. Doesn't sound.
Yeah, we'll say Quinn Ewers quid's in.
Yeah.
What? Quid's
in. Like, if you're gonna do something, like you know, put your money down. Your quid's in.
Oh, like money on the wood make the bet all good.
Clearly,
Pretty
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Oh, Quinn. How you say it? Quinn what? Quinn's in?
Well, no, I was saying Quinn Ewers quid's in, but the phrase is quid's in.
Cool. I like it. See, y'all just learned something. Y'all just learned a little slang from London. I love it. That's all I got, Kadeem. I got the Dolphins losing by more than a touchdown, and hopefully we can cash out on this plus 2,100. Bet in moderation.
They always say leave them wanting more. So Dom, you will be back on, and when you next come back on, you can tell everyone your Shador Sanders take. Because, I don't like. We're not gonna do it now. We'll save that for next time. If there's ever a reason to come back, it is to tell everyone your Shador Sanders take. But
we had a good back and forth on that on Sunday.
We definitely did. It's been a pleasure. You finally made it on. You will be back on sooner rather than later. Motion, I know you're listening. Motion, you got to come on as well. But yeah, until the next time, we shall see you soon. Peace.
Boozy.